The markets are closed, but the business stories are just heating up. Hello, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Catch up with us on Business Brief. Asian shares climb as Wall Street rallies on news that U.S. inflation improved slightly this month. The U.S. Labor Department says consumer prices in July rose 2.7% year-on-year, matching June's pace. That's lower than the 2.8% economists had expected. Australia's ASX is currently in the red, while the rest are in the green. In the currency markets, the U.S. dollar appreciates against the Japanese yen, while it depreciates against the Singapore dollar and the Thai baht. It is flat against the Hong Kong dollar and South Korean won. The Australian dollar is also flat against the greenback. In commodities, gold prices are flat while oil prices are mixed. In the crypto space, Bitcoin falls by 0.2%, while Ethereum adds 0.7%. The Social Security system is drawing a line. No shares, no plans, and no interest in online gambling firms. The pension fund backs the Finance Department's call for a ban on government investments in the industry, a position already taken by the Maharlika Investment Corporation. The issue erupted after questions over the GSIS's stake in DigiPlus, which prompted the suspension of President and General Manager Vic Veloso. Economists say it's hypocritical to promote financial literacy while profiting from gambling. They want a formal ban to protect public funds. The Bilyonaryo-owned PrimeWater Infrastructure Corporation is facing more scrutiny in other parts of the country. Bacolod City Mayor Greg Gasataya reveals PrimeWater has yet to complete the payment of its outstanding debt with Bacolod Bulk Water Incorporated. The mayor reports PrimeWater already paid for the month of May and June. The billing statement for July has already been sent. Cadiz City Mayor Salvador Escalante, for his part, is seeking a resolution to water supply interruptions for almost a month now. 14,000 residents are affected. Transportation Chief Vince Dizon orders the removal of forms that will be filled up by students before getting a discount at the LRT 1 and 2. Dizon said filling out the forms take more than a minute, and this triggers long lines at ticket booths. Senior citizens and persons with disability are also required to fill up similar forms. The transport chief adds they will coordinate with the Commission on Audit in digitalizing the information gathering process.
Kung ikaw ay estudyante, starting September, pupunta ka sa kahit anong station in September, papakita mo ang iyong ID at right then and there, ipiprint ang iyong student beep card in every station sa MRT 3, LRT 1, and LRT 2.
So one time?
One time. I-renew mo lang yan after every school year.
Dizon also announced the release of discounted beep cards for students, which will be available next month. Corruption in public works may run far deeper than flood control projects, and the city mayor is speaking out. Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong, in an interview with BNC's On Point, backed Senator Panfilo Lacson's claim that dozens of lawmakers have received kickbacks. He said he is working with Senator Lacson to consolidate evidence on the matter.
Ito yung mga identified talaga na contractors that who won. And before they became members of the House of Representatives, kung na sila, mga contractors na nila, well-known contractors. Pero iba yung naging contractor nung naging congressman. Iba pa yon, no? At ito naman mga congressman na to, ang ginawa nila para hindi halata, yung mga contractors, yung mga asawa nila, yung mga anak nila, kamag-anak nila. Pero behind the scene, yung nagmamando o nagmamanage pa rin yung congressman. Natutuwa pa nga yung ibang mga congressman dyan na hindi involved sa flood control pero involved sila sa ibang mga anomalya tulad na ng asphalt overlay, mga road opening, mga bridges, mga cat's eye, mga rock netting, dyan sa solar lights. Napakarami pa. Alam mo, tuwang-tuwa pa sila, pumapalakpak because so far so good, hindi sila napapansin.
Magalong revealed he was personally offered a percentage of a project but turned it down and shelved the plan altogether.
Ang nai-offer sa akin is 10% of the total contract price na 380 million pesos. So nag-offer sila na 38 million. That was about 3 years ago. Meron din yung sa sa road safety. Alam mo yung yellow barriers? I was offered 6% naman kasi yung funding will be coming from influential politicians upstairs.
An entrepreneurship advocate believes the private sector can drive a better infrastructure and public-private partnerships, noting the motivation of business owners to improve the economy. Go Negosyo founder Joey Concepcion said this in an interview on BNC's Business 360 amid corruption allegations hounding flood control projects.
The private sector is really has the best businessmen on board. No? Why? Because they own the company. Government people, they don't own the company. They work for the company. The private sector, the rewards come back to us to profits, sharing the dividends with our shareholders. So the shareholders of the Philippines are the citizens of the Philippines, of course. No? So if the government does well, the citizens get better opportunities, better roads, infrastructure, and all of that.
Looking ahead to 2026, he urges support for the president, stressing the importance of promoting prosperity for micro, small, and medium enterprises ahead of the ASEAN summit. Congress is set to dig into what President Bongbong Marcos himself calls anomalous flood control projects worth hundreds of billions of pesos. Bicol Saro Party List Representative Jerry Ridon, who heads the House Committee on Public Accounts, vows to ask tough, direct questions. The probe will start by verifying whether the 15 contractors named by the president actually delivered their projects. The Public Works and Good Government committees will join the investigation. Some of the firms on the president's list have been linked to Senate President Cheese Escudero and the Co-Bicol Party List Representative Elizalde Co, adding a high-stakes political edge to the case. President Marcos is backing Public Works Secretary Manuel Bonoan despite corruption allegations hounding flood control projects. Malacanang says the DPWH won't run the probe but will hand over all records needed. The investigation will be led by regional project monitoring committees with oversight from the Department of Economy, Planning and Development. Marcos says any official found involved will be named once the facts are in. The message, full trust in his public works chief, but zero tolerance for corruption in billion-peso infra projects. We're taking a short break. More business stories are up next. You're watching Business Brief. We're back on Business Brief. San Miguel Corporation's core profit is up at 36.7 billion pesos. This is a 9% rise in the first half of the year. In its disclosure, Ultra Bilyonaryo Ramon Ang's firm says this reflects broad-based gains. The company says most units delivered strong operational performance. It adds that sound cost management also contributed to the growth. Security Bank's total revenue rose 23% to 31.6 billion pesos in the first half of the year. In its disclosure, the bank also reported an 8% increase in net profit, reaching 5.9 billion pesos. This is due to improved net interest income and net interest margin. Meanwhile, service charges, fees, and commissions were slightly lower than last year due to a one-off bank assurance fee. Taiwan wants to boost trade relations with the Philippines to pre-pandemic levels. Let's get details from Sujin Kim, who joins us on the line. Go ahead, Sujin.
Taiwan is aiming to raise its current bilateral trade with the Philippines, now valued at over $5 billion, back to the $7 billion average recorded before the pandemic. Visiting Taiwanese officials point to the Philippines as one of the fastest growing markets in Southeast Asia, with a population of more than 100 million and a strategic location that makes it a crucial economic partner.
This is the market we cannot ignore and forget. Especially this year, we are facing so many situations like trade war, geopolitics, and American bilateral custom duty. So we need to explore more and more markets which are full of potential, like Philippines.
In recent years, we have seen the Philippine government actively promoting strategic industries such as telecommunication infrastructure, green energy, agro-processing, and industrial zones. These efforts align perfectly with Taiwan's strengths in sectors like ICT, green technology, and smart manufacturing. We look forward to work closely with the Philippines to share our expertise.
While the United States remains Taiwan's largest and most important export market, it is actively strengthening trade relations with other countries to reduce risks from tariffs, geopolitical tensions, and shifting trade policies. Taiwan is also pushing for stronger cooperation in agriculture and aquaculture technology to help boost the Philippines' food security. Wang cites how both countries share similar geographic conditions, meaning surrounded by sea, dependent on agriculture and fisheries, and highly vulnerable to climate change and severe weather events such as typhoons. These priorities will also be highlighted at the Taiwan Expo 2025 set in Manila this September.
We hope to take Taiwan-Philippine economic ties to the next level and foster a more sustainable and forward-looking future together.
From the business community, PSEi Trade Vice President Brian Ang said tourism also needs to be strengthened, noting that the number of Taiwanese visitors to the Philippines remains far below the level of Filipino tourists traveling to Taiwan. And those are our latest updates from Makati City. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you for that report, Sujin Kim. Ayala Corporation's core net income fell 2% to 23.7 billion pesos in the first half of the year. In its disclosure, the company says this is an improvement from a 4% decline in the first quarter of 2025. The firm attributes the performance to higher contributions from BPI, Ayala Land, and its portfolio businesses. These gains were partly offset by softer earnings from Globe and AC Energy and Infrastructure Corporation. Bloomberry's gross gaming revenue falls to 14.3 billion pesos in the second quarter. In its disclosure, the company says this is 1% lower than the 14.5 billion pesos posted in the same quarter last year. The decline was driven by continued weakness in the VIP and premium mass segments, particularly at Solaire Resort Entertainment City. Solaire Resort North contributed 4.5 billion pesos in GGR for the quarter, up from 1.1 billion during the same period in 2024. We're taking another breather, a look at how Philippine stocks did today. Coming up next, you're watching Business Brief. South Korean crypto mogul Do Kwon pleads guilty to 2 charges of conspiracy to defraud and wire fraud in the U.S. The 33-year-old Kwon, dubbed by some as the cryptocurrency king, entered the plea at a court hearing in New York. This is in connection with a $40 billion collapse of a cryptocurrency ecosystem that had promised investors their money was safe. He faces up to 25 years in prison, but a prosecutor said the government had agreed to advocate for a prison term of no more than 12 years, provided he accepts responsibility for his crimes. His sentencing will be on December 11. Billionaire Elon Musk threatens to sue Apple for alleged antitrust violations. Musk says Apple has made it impossible for apps to compete with OpenAI's ChatGPT in Apple's App Store. But several rival AI apps, such as DeepSeek and Perplexity, have previously topped the App Store charts. Musk also accused OpenAI boss Sam Altman of lying after Altman claimed Musk used his platform X to benefit himself and his own companies. South Korea's former First Lady Kim Kyun-hee is arrested over charges including stock manipulation and corruption. The 52-year-old Kim faces violations of capital market and financial investment laws, as well as political fund laws. The arrest marks a dramatic fall for the former first couple following former President Yoon Suk-yeol's controversial martial law declaration last December. Yoon, a former top prosecutor, was impeached and removed from office in April, prompting a snap election in June. He has since been detained over the martial law incident. Philippine shares rose for the second straight day. The PSEi index ended higher by more than 0.5% to close at 63.25, finishing the day as the 11th best performer in Asia. Majority of the sectoral indices ended in the green, with holding firms rising the most at over 1%. Advancers outpaced decliners 103 to 91. Total value turnover reached 10.6 billion pesos. The day's most active stocks ended mixed, with BDO Unibank rising the most at nearly 4%. Bloomberry Resorts fell the most at almost 10%. That's a wrap for today's Business Brief. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Join us again tomorrow as we bring you the stories that help you plan your next big, bold moves in business. Only here on the Bilyonaryo News channel. See you then.